Well, I'm sitting here at a picnic table on my campsite. The clam's behind me. My SUV home is behind me. I know you've seen the tours now of both. Unless you're new, you can go back and watch the tours of both of these. I decided to come out here to get some fresh air outside of the clam. It's a bit windy, not too bad, so I hope it doesn't interfere with the sound too much or, the video. But today's topic is going to be planning, prepping, organizing, and securing the tiny home for an extended vacation work camping experience here at Crazy Horse in South Dakota. Hope you'll join me.
Serene and simple life. It is a sit and chair Sunday picnic table chat like back in the day when I was on the road for 3.5 years with no other home than my Acura and then the SUV. Traveling, working, playing, go, see, do mode. Would love to stop at a picnic table and chat with you. More commonly known as babbling. It is a beautiful, beautiful day here at Crazy Horse. It is a day off, and so it is definitely a serene and simple day here, although my job is pretty simple as well. Sometimes maybe not totally serene, but a lot of that is a mindset. Today I thought I would take you through, even though it's after the fact, the steps involved
in preparing for this extended, quite a few months stay in South Dakota, away from my Cozy Nest Cottage tiny home anchor. I don't know how to shorten things. Somebody put in the comments one time a very nice compliment about being organized and wanted to know maybe some tips and hints on being organized. And so I thought that this would kind of coincide with their particular question of what do I do to get organized. And if you saw the food hall and you saw the SUV tour inside my happy haven back here, you know that just didn't happen overnight. I mean, if I decided to make this trip, I didn't start like 2 days before and just throw things together and throw them inside Happy Haven and off I went. I started planning probably a month to 6 weeks after I got home from Arizona, planning for this trip. When I got home, I immediately started looking for a work camping job. I think I got hired back in March, maybe. I don't really know. And the job started a couple months later. And so, yes, my videos are that you've been seeing. I've already been here for a while working. I am going to give you a 90-day update, but I do that for safety, both safety at my tiny home that's vacant, but not really vacant because I've got a lot of security measures in place that we're going to talk about in a few. So this is kind of a two-in-one, the prepping and what security measures I took before I left. So after I got the job, then it was 4 to 6 weeks and I got myself, I'm a forward thinker. Just like back in the day, growing up, we knew we were going to take a yearly week vacation, the family. And so we started talking about it, 4 or 6 months in advance, maybe even sooner, when Dad was going to get his vacation and where we were going to go. And it was always something to look forward to, not to rush the days away, but just, to me, it's about something to look forward to. And it ties in with being a goal setter. Many of you know who've been with me a while that I set goals. When I first became a nomad, I set a goal to buy a piece of property and build a tiny home and be debt free. And I succeeded with God's help immensely. Give him all the glory. I succeeded in reaching that goal. And it's no different with anything else in my life. As a creative memories consultant, we were always setting goals, financial, how many shows we were going to do, and how many team members we were going to, how big our organization was going to be. So goal setting is a really fun, but to me, it's a very worthwhile thing to do. So I just carry that through my life as being a goal setter. And it also is exciting. Out of the gate, the first thing I started doing was thinking about food. And if you saw my food haul, you know I have 2 months worth of food here. Like, who does that? Like, usually you go shopping every week, 2 weeks. And I'm 40 miles away from a Walmart. I like having my days off to do these videos, to journal, to walk, to ride my bike, do different things, and not think about doing those things that you do when you're at your sticks and bricks. So when I first get to a work camping job like I did last summer in Michigan, you can go back and watch those in the playlists. I had a lot of food with me. It's just something I do. So the first thing I did in prepping was I looked at what food I have had in my pantry and what I'd be taking with me. You know, I'm flexible, but there was a lot of canned goods. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to be eating fresh there at the tiny home, as in salads and not opening up a can of soup as it was getting hotter. So I was like, okay, these things I'm going to take with me. And, you know, seeing is believing. So I made a list here. It's a little bit windy. I hope that's not like I mentioned earlier. But I do like being outside and I like the natural lighting. But I have here, if you can see this, a list that says in stock and for stash. Meaning that I was needed to buy for my stash for my 2 month food haul. So I had like chicken noodle, chicken rice, cream of chicken. I had extra apple sauces. I had vegetables. I had some beans, different things in my pantry. And again, about a month prior, I pulled those things out and I bought a couple bins at the Dollar Tree that I showed you. Well, no, I didn't show you those because I took those back and I found better ones that I liked at Target, the black ones that I showed you in my tour. And so I started filling those up. And then it dawned on me, why not? I'm a price checker. Why not go to Amazon and see? I've never ordered food on Amazon till now. Why not see what the prices of Amy's soup is, green beans, lima beans, mushrooms, all those things I showed you in the food haul, and see which came out as a better price. So I also made a list, which I don't think is here, of the prices. I price checked at Walmart, I price checked at Aldi's, and I also price checked on Amazon to get the best deals. So I started ordering food and I was filling up the 2 bins. I kept them underneath the counter in the tiny home and it was just a lot of fun. So now we are, oh, and I wanted to show you too, I do little countdown calendars. So this happens to be May. Well, I was counting down the days for taking off and had that on my refrigerator and just, I don't know, looking forward. Yes, getting my mind, you know, not that I was like, oh, I don't want to do it. It was like, oh, when is this going to come and how much fun is this going to be? So there's a truck going by, a squirrel. So the next thing on my list in my mind was clothing, getting the car in order. These are kind of like tied in a couple weeks in advance, not waiting till the last minute. What kind of clothes was I going to take? And now where I have my tiny home. It was starting to get warmer, so I didn't need my winter wear. So I started pulling things out and putting things in these awesome, awesome Amazon bags. I have various sizes, and the link is in the description. I am an Amazon affiliate, and I make a few cents if you put things in your cart and within 24 hours you order anything, whether it be from my link, which is in the description down below, or if you order something that's not in the link, then I even get something in addition, as long as you click on my link and you shop from that. You drop things in your cart and then you order later, but it has to be within 24 hours. So thank you very much if you're interested in anything that I had, that I showed you either in the food haul or I showed you in the tours of both the Clam and the SUV. You can find those things in the description. So I pulled out, as I said, the winter things, some sweatshirts, I have some long johns. I knew that when I got here to South Dakota that it would still be cold, and then on the back end it might be cold as well. So I just continued to decide what I was going to wear. And then, I own probably, I don't know, 8 or 10 pairs of stretchy shorts. I call them like the elasticized, the cheap ones from Walmart. So I said, well, I'm not going to wear all 10 pairs before I leave for South Dakota, because I only had a couple weeks to go. So I started pulling out tank tops that I knew I wasn't going to wear. I layer and I wear tank tops underneath clothing when it's cold. And so you get the gist. I started, pulling out some long sleeve shirts and not shirts, but tops. We wear black pants and they provide a t-shirt. So I pulled out different things that I knew I wasn't going to wear to church or what have you. And I like loose clothing. This is a dress that I got at Walmart. And I bought a couple new things, like a white top, the $5-6 type from Walmart. Just some things to take along with me that were fresh and new. I had to order some pants for the job. I'm looking at my notes. And then we're going on to car care. I needed to get my oil changed, the tires rotated, and I needed my front brakes checked. Well, my brakes needed replaced. I watch that continually, but I try to get the most miles out of anything that I purchase for this vehicle. And he gave me the green light. He says, I would let my mother, my sister, my daughter drive this vehicle the miles that you're going to do to South Dakota, so to make the long trip. So that felt really, really good. And Happy Haven has, I think, 209,000 miles on it, but you wouldn't know it by the way she drives. Knock on wood. All right. I was continually doing videos. Some of the videos that you recently, like over the last month, saw with estrangement and things that I've done wrong in my life and lessons learned, and pouring out my heart, being very transparent and vulnerable about who I am, and trying to help you as well to be encouraged in your life with changes that you're making. A lot of those videos were done in advance, so that when I got here to my work camping, I wouldn't have to think about, oh my gosh, I got to put a video out. So again, I'm planning and I'm goal setting and I'm getting ahead of the game. Then I wanted to organize. I like to, and that comes into play, like, how do you organize? Well, I had a lot of little projects, notebooks to go through and things that I wanted to take with me. And so I think one of the keys is starting in advance and planning and making lists. I have a list of things to take to South Dakota. I have everything from my toothpaste and toothbrush. I mean, I don't want to be halfway down the road and say, oh my gosh, I forgot my toothbrush. And I like a can opener, apple slicer, my folding table, which was behind the sofa, my laptop, product to fill my Say It, Display It orders. So if you're interested in Say It, Display It, you can, I'm shutting down the website until I can create something new that doesn't cost as much. So you can always email me, linda@sayitdisplayit.com, if you are interested in the daily inspiration cards that I make. I can explain them to you. There's different themes, 30 in a pack, I tell you the prices, that kind of thing. I show them off and on in my videos, excuse me. But I had this list and it was an ongoing list. Oh my gosh, I need to write that down. My laptop, I don't want to forget that. My Afghan, something that I use every day at the tiny home. I didn't want to forget last minute to put into Happy Haven. And then I have things like fix umbrella, charge the battery, move a plant. Yeah, I had returns to do. Oh, and very last minute, now we're going to fast forward a few days before because we've got the car taken care of. I've told you about the clothing. I wait to do laundry like till 2 or 3 days before. So everything is super clean and nice and ready to go. Well, now I'm going to really fast forward, but I made meatloaf and some cookies with organic oatmeal and peanut butter and some no bake, well, not no bake, but chocolate chips without the sugar, something that I could munch on the road. I made a pizza the night before because that's easy to eat now that I have the refrigeration too. And I mean, I leave pizza out overnight and I eat it. So there was a lot of things. I had to learn about my hose timer. And so I had to spend some time with that. You know, I've done a lot of show and tells, which when I get back to my tiny home, I'm going to do a video on showing you how I am using every single thing that has been sent to me. It is quite amazing. Like I mentioned before, it's almost like handpicked from God, the things that have been sent to me. I had to, yeah, and then we go into security, and that was pretty much at the last minute too. I'm still looking here. Oh, I spray painted a dresser. Um, Before we talk about security, I planned out how everything was going to fit. I was still doing craft shows, so I'm half setting this up to live on the road in, and I'm doing craft shows because I'm getting anxious. I'm getting excited. I ordered that shelf unit that I showed you. I wanted to see how it fit. The last craft show that I did, was able to set up. It was a 2-day show. I showed you that. I showed you doing that show. And oh, by the way, I didn't win the contest. So I never did a video to let you know that. But I unloaded everything there and then I set up the home. The day after the craft show was over, that Sunday night, I unloaded everything, and Monday morning before I left on a Thursday or a Friday, Saturday, I can't remember, but I was setting everything up and getting everything squared away because there's nothing like finding that something isn't going to work, something's not going to fit, and you're down to the wire. I needed to leave by a certain date, and I had some flexibility. I also played with the miles. Will it take me 4 days to get here? Will it take me 6 days? How fast do I want to go? Planning for obstacles or deterrents, things that might happen. So I did have some wiggle room, and I left in plenty of time to be here in time for orientation. But I'm not a time waster, and I think that's another tip that you know, start doing things even when you think it's too early. It's really not too early to start planning 4-6 weeks in advance of something where you're going to be gone for several months. So I had a lot of reviews. I told you I'm looking at my notes. I lined up my auto repair. I had to, you know, I needed to order some things on Amazon. I mean, I even put, you know, would I do a little getaway before this trip? I did one, not as many as I thought I would. I have a new dehumidifier. I needed to try that out. Doing all the videos kept me quite busy. I mean, I had so many things to put together, and the landscaping. I was still blowing leaves, and I was putting together the bench and the 3-piece patio, and oh, what else? I was planting clover, and I was raking dirt, and just all those things that I had to order the bike rack. And then Pam and Frank came over, and that was like 2 or 3 hours. Something that you think is only going to be a half an hour Trust me, I am the worst at determining how long something's going to take. So my rule of thumb now is if I think it's going to take a half an hour, I need to at least write an hour, hour and a half, because somehow I get distracted. Things take much longer than you think. So that goes back to the planning in advance. So now we're down to the wire with security so that we don't make this so long. Joe is my handyman, and as he did for me last summer for my work camping job, he comes by periodically, quite often, to check on the tiny home. So I always have somebody coming in and out, and yes, I am paying him. And he comes over with his wife. If it needs mowed, if he sees something unusual, he contacts me. So that was number one. Number two is I live in a very small HOA area. I forgot to put this in the budget thing. $10 a year, guys. You know, okay, $1 a month or less. So there is a guy who's the president, and he lives diagonal from me. Well, lo and behold, I had met him early on, and he is willing to bring his vehicles over and park them at the tiny house, and he's keeping an eye on it. He even told me that he would see my lights go on and off when he'd had no idea that I would be leaving. And so that just makes me feel secure that I definitely have eyes very close by. And I mean, what a God thing, what a blessing. And then there is a security guy, because I live near a lake, and the security is for the lake, but they drive around, him and his wife. So I met her personally. We exchanged phone numbers. I have her number if they see anything suspicious. So we got Joe, we've got the HOA guy, we've got the actual security around me, and then I call the county. I did this last year too. You get on yourself on a list. I let them know that I am going to be gone, and if you know, in the policeman's route, they drive by. Last summer they did, and my ring cam went off. And I was like, who was that? So I called the county, and they're like, we were just out there, but we'll go out there again. Amazing, amazing. So you can do that for security. So all these things that I'm telling you, you can work in if you're going to be gone several months. Like, how does she do it? How does she feel comfortable leaving her tiny home? Well, you put all these spokes in place is how you do it. And it's very comfortable. And then, of course, you saw that I have the Reolink cameras. And when I got my tiny home, I had a hardwired ring cam that's on my front door. So if anyone comes to the door, I'm going to be notified immediately, and I am going to be calling 911, and I'm going to be calling the county, and they're going to know, and things will be taken care of. And then before I left last summer for Michigan, I had another ring cam put on the back. So I can visit my tiny home anytime I want remotely. Very exciting. So that brings me to the day of. Now I've got everything packed that I can possibly pack except for the refrigerator. And so I turned that on overnight to get it nice and cold. I packed that in the morning. I got my shower, my last minute clothing, my bedding. Andy, goes with me, my bear, my blankets and things that I was still using. That's all at the front door. Last minute cleaning out the refrigerator. I always do that like the day of, because I'm putting things in the refrigerator. I carried the refrigerator out empty, and then I filled it. I had several bags to fill it. So it does take me to get going, even with those teeny weeny last minutes. Your makeup bag, the toothbrush, everything that you're still using. I mean, I had a door full of stuff when I left that needed to go in, and several trips. And then I'm closing blinds, and I'm making sure that the AC is off, and that my night lights are on. I have a couple night lights inside the tiny home that come on at night, making sure everything is secure. I met with Joe probably 2 days before, and we went over everything, and I gave him keys. He has keys to the sheds. I looked in the shed, make sure I took all my patio furniture and my other, essential things that I don't want setting out. I put those inside the big shed, and probably left around noon, 1 o'clock, but that's okay. The first day I only like to do a couple hours. So there you have it, guys. the overview from prepping and planning to organizing to making it happen with the car and food and clothing and all my work that I'm doing with craft shows and videos and reviews and show and tells. And then down the road I go, feeling very, very secure with everything. Um, did I leave anything behind? I can't remember. I think something really, really small that I don't need to replace. A very lightweight blanket that I wish that I had with me now, but I can't think of anything that really stands out that I forgot, because I did that ongoing list of, oh my gosh, I need to take tape with me for orders, and I need to have a pair of scissors, and just if we went on, and you continually go back and revisit your lists. I hope all this helped. The Babbling Brook for sure will be signing off now, and hopefully you will continue to watch as I give you different tours and go see do adventures. And before we know it, we'll be back at the tiny home anchor and doing new and exciting things there. I have new landscaping planned, and lots of future things to wrap up the year, including some new discussions too, some heartfelt discussions about what's going on in my life. All right. With that, blessings in your day and joy in your journey, wherever that takes you. Joy in your planning and your organizing and your executing. I love you guys.